Hello, Sagittarius Ascendant. This reading is for you for the week of July 3rd until July 16th. Now, during these 2 weeks, what's going to happen is there's going to be a full moon on July 3rd. On July 7th, Venus transiting from Astrology to Maga. And also we're going to have a last quarter moon in Pisces. So we're going to be digging into what the overall meaning is for you, what you need to know about your money and career, what you need to know about your health, what you need to know about your relationships, and what your overall advice is. So let's get right into it. Okay, so starting off with the full moon. The full moon is really kicking off a lot of stuff. Okay, so the full we want to kind of go back and look at where we started. And we started this moon phase off in Gemini, and on the new moon. The new moon was in the nakshatra Mrigashira, and it was for you, Sagittarius Ascendant. It was in your 7th house of business and relationship. And the new moon, which now what was the date of the new moon? It was recently. I can't remember the date of the new moon, but on the new moon in Gemini, okay, you could have found out some truth about how you relate to people, because we're talking about your 7th house of the others. Okay, you could have become more enlightened, because that's what the sun does. The sun enlightens us wherever it is. So you could have been enlightened on some codependent tendencies that you have within yourself. So I also want us to think about this. Codependency goes more than one way. So if you're a codependent person, some people might just think that, that's kind of like the victim side. But even if you're more of an aggressive person who likes to have people there for, okay, so I'll just say it this way. So I'm not no doctor or anything, but codependency goes both ways. The victim and also the aggressor can be codependent. So you don't want to say, well, just because I'm more dominant and more aggressive, that I'm not codependent. So you have to look at it in both ways. So and be honest with yourself, because this full moon is in Sagittarius. Sagittarius knows the truth. The Sagittarius does not really seek for the truth. For the most part, it already has like a sense of knowing. Okay, so you have to be honest with yourself about any codependent tendencies that could have showed up for you, starting with the new moon in Gemini and even throughout this whole moon phase. Okay, so that's going to be starting from the new moon in Gemini to 28 to 38 days later. Okay, so by the full moon, which these cards represent, and we're talking, this row right here is representing the main theme. So this is the moon. This represents the moon and emotions. And this represents the full moon, because this is the moon. Mother Mary is represented by the moon. Okay. So by the full moon, the sun will be in the nakshatra Ardra. Okay. And situations could occur that shows you why you might be experiencing so many emotional storms, because Ardra is represented by the teardrop, and it's ruled by Rahu, the north node of the moon. So Ardra can cause storms that are emotional, that cause tears, that cause us to learn from like deep pain that causes tears. But the main thing is learning, especially with Melchizedek here that represents Jupiter. It's higher learning. Okay, it's higher learning. So we have to learn from our emotional storms. So your ascendant Lord is Jupiter. So now we're talking about Jupiter, which is at the root of everything for you, Sagittarius Ascendant. So in your 5th house, which can represent your inner child, you might need to gain wisdom from your childhood experiences, because it's very possible that your childhood experiences are what's at the root of your current emotional situations. Okay, so you might need to, like I said, gain wisdom from your childhood experiences, especially because, I have to take notes, Jupiter rules your 4th house of home and emotions. So the 4th house represents home, it represents emotions, but it also represents the mother. And we're still talking about the full moon, and the moon represents the mother, because the moon rules the 4th house and also Cancer. So we want to make sure, okay, with this placement with our 4th lord, Jupiter, because we have Pisces in our 4th house, and I'm saying we because I'm Sagittarius rising, Sagittarius ascendant as well. So we have Pisces in our 4th house, and we have Jupiter in our 5th house. Okay, so when we have this, it means that well, and we also have to take into consideration what's going on in the 4th house right now. So transiting in the 4th house, we have Chiron there, which is the wounded healer. And Chiron helps us to understand where we have been wounded, where we have had emotional traumas. It's a lot of trauma, okay, especially when it comes to home, the 4th house, mother emotions. So we have to really deal with that. And then we also have retrograde Neptune. And Neptune is a malefic planet. It's an outer planet and it's retrograde, but it's malefic. So it could be some issues in your home. It could be some issues that you have to deal with when it comes to your mother, and your emotions could cause you to not see things clearly right now, okay, with all that happening in your 4th house. But if something you can do when it comes to having peace of mind, because your 4th house does represent your peace and your comfort zone, what you can do, because Jupiter, we have Melchizedek here represent Jupiter, is in your 5th house of creative self-expression. We can express ourselves creatively. And this theme of creativity and expression is very strong during this full moon and for the next 2 weeks after the full moon. Creativity, creative self-expression, spirituality, especially with Neptune and Pisces. And it's just so deep. So you want to make sure that you are digging deeper into your spirituality, that you are using your imagination, possibly for creative self-expression. This is the main thing to help you heal during this full moon in Purvashada, okay, on July 3rd. That is the main thing, is using creative self-expression, your imagination, digging deeper into your spirituality to find peace and happiness and healing from July 3rd until July 16th. Okay, that is the thing. All right. Now we're moving on to what you need to know. What happened to the little part? What you need to know about your money and career for July 3rd until July 16th. Let me get this card details. Okay. So here we have what you need to know. Okay. Venus is the ruler of the nakshatra of Purvashada, which is the nakshatra that the full moon is going to be on July 3rd. Okay. So following your purpose and passions these next 2 weeks will help you with your money and career. But you will have to be strong and hold on to your sense of knowing, because Venus is starting off the full moon in Astrology in Cancer. So Venus does not love being in Astrology because she's not very friendly with the moon. Okay, Venus is also going to be going Grandada, and that means that she's going to be going from a watery sign like Cancer into a fiery sign of Leo, and that's actually going to happen on July 7th. So that's going to cause some changes and challenges with Venus. Okay, and then also Venus is in between. Let me look at this chart because there's a pop country yoga with Venus too. Because during the full moon, Venus is going to be let me find Cancer. Yeah, Venus is going to be in between the Sun, which is a mild malefic planet, and Rahu. No, not Rahu. And what? No, it's not pop culture. What am I talking about? So, oh yeah, no, Mars. That's what I'm thinking about. Mars is the other malefic planet that Venus is going to be in between. So Venus is going to be in between the Sun, which is a mild malefic planet, and Mars, which is an all the way malefic planet. Okay, and so that's going to cause, because the Sun is going to be in Gemini, and Mars is in Leo, and Venus is in between them in Cancer. So that also will cause some limitations for Venus, which represents money. So I'm telling you all the things that Venus is going through, so you'll understand that your money, because Venus represents your money, can go through challenges and ups and downs during this time, during this July 3rd until July 16th. But you have to stay the course. You have to hold on to your sense of knowing, hold on to your happiness, hold on to your passions, because that's what's going to help you with your career. Now, look at my notes. Okay, because I'm trying to make these videos shorter. Okay, I'm trying. So, where was I? Okay, like I said, hold on to your sense of knowing, because then also Venus is moving into MAGA. Like I said, MAGA on July 7th, and MAGA is a nakshatra that's ruled by the south node of the moon, Ketu. Okay, and Ketu moves a lot like Rahu, so it causes challenges and drastic changes and ups and downs. On top of that, Ketu asks us to separate from what no longer serves us. Ketu asks us to evolve and come up higher. Okay, and we have to do this to gain authority with our careers and with our money, because it's moving into Leo. Okay, so we have to make sure that to gain our authority, that we stay focused and we stay the course no matter what, that we're determined to stay the course no matter what when it comes to our money, when it comes to our career, even though we see that there's storms happening all around us, drastic ups and downs. We're not focused on right now. We're focused on the future, because that's what Jupiter in Sagittarius is all about, having a vision for the future, a clear vision for the future, and having a knowing. So that means these distractions, we know challenges, ups and downs, they're going to come. But should that stop you? Should that make you backtrack? Nope. Stay the course. Okay? Because Sagittarius, where the full moon is starting, it's all about you know, when you look at the symbol, it's an arrow, and that means it has an aim. And what Sagittarius has an aim, I mean, whatever it sets its arrow on, it's going to reach whatever it's aiming at. So you can't worry about what's going on around you, okay? Now, I'm not saying everything is going to be bad, but whatever happens, just know, hold on, okay? So that's what I want to share about Venus, about your money and career for the next 2 weeks. And this is especially true for us Sagittarius Ascendant, because Venus rules your daily work routine, because Venus rules Taurus in your 6th house, but Venus also rules your 11th house of earnings, and K2 is there in Libra. So yeah, there's going to be some changes and shakeups, especially because Venus is moving to MAGA, which is ruled by K2. Now, we're moving on to what you need to know about your health. And this is also Venus related, because Venus, like I said, rules your 6th house. And not only does your 6th house represent your daily work routine, it also represents health and healing, okay? So because Venus represents health and healing, and she's going to be in your 6th house, and she rules your 6th house. She's not going to be in your 6th house, but she rules your 6th house. You have to really pay attention to Venus-related issues that could be reoccurring. Okay, let me look at my notes, because I feel like I'm going to be going deep on this. Okay. Health. Okay, health. Okay, Venus rules the 6th house because you have Taurus there, and Venus is going to be going through it. On top of what I already shared that Venus is going to be going through, Venus will be going through retrograde soon. So it's going to be a lot that Venus is going through. So you really want to pay attention to your health, okay? So there could be challenges with health, ups and downs with health, and you want to focus on reoccurring issue, Venus-related issues, okay? Like thyroid. That's one that I deal with. Thyroid, okay? That's a Venus-related issue. Skin. Venus is not the only planet that represents skin, but Venus does represent skin-related issues. Venus represents your kidneys, so you want to pay attention to that. Venus, when it comes to health, represents female issues. So pay attention, like if you have like fibroids, things like that, issues with ovaries. She also represents the reproductive issues. So that's physical health. But Venus also represents self-esteem and confidence. And those, I feel, affect your mental and emotional health as well. So you want to make sure you're paying attention to that, okay? So this is what I want to share with your, I'm just going off my notes and not even explaining what the cards mean. So this is, pray for protection when it comes to your health. Because, like I said, the connection between El Moira does represent Jupiter. And so what I'm saying is this is also has a lot to do with the full moon, because the full moon is going to be in Jupiter, but it's going to be in the nakshatra Purvashada, which is ruled by Venus. And on the day of the full moon, Venus is going to be in your 8th house of chronic illnesses. Your 8th house of chronic illnesses. So you want to pray for protection, okay? Pray for protection. You also want to make sure, okay, this is stated, reoccurring issues. This has to do with karma. A lot to do with karma. Let me look at the 7th house. Okay. Yeah, so yeah, this does have to do with karma. This does have to do with, I believe this is the emotional part, where You might have some self-esteem, some self-worth, some self-confidence issues that might need to be worked on as far as your health. Okay, so make sure that you're doing that. Make sure that you are using wisdom, Jupiter again, when it comes to your health. Also, because K2 has its 9th aspect on your 7th house. And like I said, K2 is in a sign that's ruled by Venus. So that's the Venus connection again. So you want to make sure, because K2 is asking you to learn more about what you need to cut out. Okay? Learn more about what you need to cut out, especially when it comes to others. Learn more about what you need to cut out. When we're talking, like, I really feel the self-worth and self-confidence, because we're talking about others and other people when we're talking about your 7th house, and karmic issues could be karmic relationships that you need to cut out. Again, this card right here represents K2. So there is the connection there. That's why I wanted to talk about the 9th aspect of K2 on your 7th house of business and relationships. And this is purification. It is time for a cleansing, detoxification of your body and mind. Let go of what's not serving you, especially if it has the potential to affect your health. Okay, so now we're moving on to relationships, which this is a good kind of a good transition, because I feel like, you know, a lot of this might have to do with relationships, because like I said in the beginning of the video, we started off this new moon phase in Gemini in Mixira, where we're searching. Okay, we're searching for some things that have something to do with relationships. So let us look here. Going back to my notes so I don't talk forever. So again, Venus is very strong, and this card represents Venus, charity, prayer, and contemplation. Heaven, ask and you shall receive. Okay, so this, you see how it's upside down, I believe. This is pointing me again to K2, which is always continually and consistently retrograde, being in Libra, which represents business and relationships, because it is a Venus ruled sign, and Venus represents relationships, and we're specifically talking about relationships. But K2 is in Libra, in your 11th house of dreams and wishes. And this is saying, connect with heaven, ask, and you shall receive. Okay? Now we're talking about ask and you shall receive. We're talking about Venus being connected to the full moon, because the full moon is in Purvashada, which is ruled by Venus. And the full moon, during the phase of the full moon, it is an amazing time for manifestation. So that goes in alignment with your 11th house. Okay. And if you're seeing this before the full moon, which would be perfect, it's really a good time to start planting seeds, gain your resources of, you know, what you need to do to manifest the type of relationship that you want. You can manifest the type of relationship that you want with Venus ruling the nakshatra Purvashada on the full moon, and also ruling your 11th house with Libra there. Okay, and if you are already in a relationship, you can have faith that things will change for the better, even if it seems like it would be impossible for change to happen in your relationship. Now, the change could be for the better. People could come to their senses and start wanting to listen on both sides. Okay, now we want to understand that with the full moon being in your 7th house, which is about balance, the new moon being in your 7th house, which is about balance. And also K2, which keeps coming up in this reading, being in your 11th house in Libra, which is also about balance. Okay, you want to look at yourself. What, even though you could have had reoccurring issues in your relationship, maybe you haven't been looking at yourself and what you contribute to the reoccurring challenges. Or maybe you can look at it in a different way. Things that you might need to do or change in your relationship. But also your other half, your partner, could want to look at the relationship and change. But also the way that things could change is that because K2 is in Libra in your 11th house, your partner you and your partner could separate, and that could be the change that you really need in your relationship. Okay, so I'm talking to Sagittarius Ascendant in general. So, some people could experience different things. And in the comments, let me know how you feel about this, what you're going through, and how this relationship advice could be affecting you. Okay, so still on relationships. This is clearing the way where something was stuck. No, for a key, yeah. Things could change, definitely change. And then here we have my aunt, fairness. The situation will be handled in a fair and just manner. And that's what you want, a fair and just manner. Remember that, okay? Because, like I said, situations can come up starting with this new moon in your 7th house that could cause pain and emotions and anger and all kind of stuff coming up, okay? But you want to make sure that things are handled fairly, that you're being fair about your actions and your words, what you do, and also the other person. You don't want to seek revenge. You don't want to act in anger. What you want is fairness. And fairness could be whatever, but you want to trust in the universe, trust that things will work out, especially if you are fair and balanced in your thinking and not being a victim, but also not being overly aggressive. Okay? Let me see what else I wrote in my notes because I don't want to miss anything. Okay, so Venus, let me see. So if you want a transformation in the area of relationship, you need to ask for relationships that are in alignment with your purpose, because Sagittarius, where the full moon is going to be, does represent purpose. So you want to make, and it's with Venus, so you want to make sure your relationships are in alignment with your purpose. Yeah, so basically I said what I need to say about that. And lastly, looking at the last row, we're looking at your overall advice, okay? Your overall advice for the week of July 3rd. And if I said 6th, I apologize, because I keep saying July 6th through July 16th. I even wrote it down a couple times, but I mean July 3rd to July 16th. Okay, so your advice is to forgive yourself and others for the past. Okay, justice is very strong, and having victory through justice is very strong, because that's what Purvashada is all about, is having victory in the end. And we do this through justice. And you want to know what makes, I wanted to point out, and I almost forgot to point out, that Purvashada is the 20th nakshatra. Now, there's 27 nakshatras in all. Purvashada is the 20th one. And if you know anything about tarot, the 20th major arcana card is That is the it's not justice, it's the, oh no, I can't remember. Oh, I'm gonna have to come back to it, but it represents victory too. I came to a blank and I'm gonna have to remember. Okay, so especially if it comes, now my main focus is women. That's who I connect with the most. Now, Jupiter can represent a father. Jupiter can definitely represent a father, okay? And so with the strong connection to Jupiter and Sagittarius and even Pisces in this July and the full moon, you might need to give your father, especially because we're talking about childhood issues, you might need to forgive your father, okay? And every time I pull this card, it does have a lot to do with our finances being connected to father issues. And it makes sense because of the connection with Venus. So, yeah, that comes up a lot. Father issues being connected to self-worth for women. Okay, so you want to make sure that you're exercising forgiveness when it comes to the past. And I don't even, now, if you're like me, when I think about the past, I'm thinking about the past in this life and also past lives. So it's nothing wrong with going ahead and clearing out everything, the past that you experienced in this life and also past lives. Okay, so this is hope. Have hope. And Jupiter, Sagittarius, is very optimistic. Okay, but also this card for me represents the star card, which is Aquarius. This is represented by Aquarius, and we have retrograde Saturn there. So have hope and let that motivate you to be more responsible, more disciplined, to work hard, to be patient. Allow hope to let you do that, okay? And this is be strong. You are stronger than you think you are, and your strength assures a happy outcome, okay? So let me look at my notes, and then this will be it for us. Okay, create a strategy for your problems that could come up in the future and be strong through challenges and disasters in the next 2 weeks. Okay, so this is what I have. I also don't, the last quarter moon, which I didn't get to talk about, is going to be in your 4th house. And during the last quarter moon phase, what we're doing is we're releasing anything that mentally, spiritually, physically, emotionally, that could keep us from reaching the goals that we set during the new moon phase. So we're letting go of that. And let me look one more time at your 4th house. Okay, so the last quarter moon, which I said it starts on July 10th. You have Neptune retrograde there, like I said, and you have Chiron there in Pisces in your 4th house of home. So we're letting go. We're letting go anything in our homes, in our home life, in our family life, as mothers, emotionally, that is not helping us reach our goal that we set on the new moon in Gemini, okay? So I just wanted to make sure I share that. If you liked this video, please don't forget to click like. If you have anything that you want to share, any questions or comments, go ahead and let me know in the comment section. If you know someone with Sagittarius Ascendant or even Sagittarius moon that could benefit from this video, please share it with them. And if you would like your own reading for what's going to be happening for the next week, the next 2 weeks, the next month, look in the description box below and you will see how to contact me so you can get a personal reading for yourself. All right? Talk to you next time.